So welcome everyone to the second episode of the Quizz Talk series. If you didn't do it yet, you can rename yourself because most of yourself are named Christelle Rivas. So you can click on the three little dots on the top right corner of your video to change your name to your actual name. To start, I'm going to present myself. So my name is Violaine Burtin, and I work in a PEPIT, the PEPIT of the University of Clermont-Ferrand. So a PEPIT is an entrepreneurship center for students. And today I will be the moderator of the interviews you're about to listen to. To start with, I'm going to give you a little bit of context of what this event is about. So we organize as PEPIT a series of events called Quizz Talks. So it's about research and entrepreneurship, aiming to raise awareness among PhD students. So we are a group of people working in some PEPIT in France. We call ourselves PEPIT PhD. And our mission is to strengthen the entrepreneurial and culture and innovation among the PhD students. So the organization we work for, they exist in every university in France. So if at some point you have questions about entrepreneurship, you can go contact them to have more information and support, for example. And about the series of events we are organizing, the quizzes and talks, they are online episodes. So some of them are in French, others in English, and we alternate quizzes and talks. So 2 weeks ago, we had our first event, a quiz in French. I will put the link of the replay in the comment section if you're interested in watching it. And today we have the first talk. So the talk is more a kind of interview session. And the quiz is more like a fun and gaming session. So today we're going to be a bit more serious and listen to the stories of two great PhD entrepreneurs. So I'm welcoming Clémentine Rubio and Marie-Rose Auclair that will tell us more about their path as entrepreneurs. And we're going to start with the question. If at some moment you have question too, do not hesitate to raise the hands with the Zoom tool. Feel free to ask your question because this is what is about this session. It's to answer your doubts and questions. So we're gonna start with Marie-Rose. First, could you introduce yourself and give us a brief description of your PhD research topic and your academic background, please?
Yes, thank you. Thank you first for the invitation. So yeah, I hope I will be short. I am Rosemary Auclair. I got my PhD in 2014. I worked on leukemias, specifically about a protein that named Helios, which is involved in a variety of leukemia in human. And my goal was to determine the function of this protein. And during my thesis, I found that this protein particularly is involved in DNA damage responses. So my background is biology, molecular and cellular biology, and at the master degree, I study immunology and cancerology. Yeah.
Thank you. And you, Clémentine, what was your topic of research for your PhD diploma?
Hello, everyone. I studied and I worked on the cultural and language diversity, and my topic was the history of French language teaching in Palestine. I worked on French soft power politics, policies on language spreading. And so that was my PhD topic. And then I worked for 8 years in the University of Tours in central France, doing research and teaching about linguistic and cultural diversity.
So nowadays, you're both entrepreneurs. You kind of shift your careers in a new direction. So Rosemary, can you tell us more about your current entrepreneurial project?
Yes, sure. So I switch on topics. I study bioluminescence in plants. So I co-found, in fact, a startup which is named Woodlight, and we develop a bioluminescent plant. The aim is to propose a new lighting, a new source of light in cities of tomorrow. So like that, we address problematics that we are all well aware of the cities, which are the overconsumption of energy, pollution, and lack of greenery. So in our same product, we address all these problematics.
Okay. Is it a project that that enables you to concretely make a link between your wish for your future, for the planet, and your background, like your academical background, your competence, your skills? Sorry.
Yes, sure. So yeah, because so both of us, the two co-founders, so my husband and I, are both biologists, and yeah, for sure, our background is really necessary to create this startup and to develop the products. So for sure, at the beginning, I did the bench work, and more Woodlight is evolving and it's developing. My job start to change a bit, so I'm more in the business part now, and the R&D part is is in the end of expert in vegetal in plant biology.
Okay. Thank you for your answer. And you, Clémentine, can you tell us more about what is your project? What are you currently working on?
Sorry. With an associate, I started and I now run capacity building and consulting agency. And we work on the topics of gender equality and gender-based violence. We work with institutions like universities or municipalities, and we work with businesses, companies. We work with them on gender inequalities, how to reduce the inequalities in wages, in working conditions, how to make the workplace a safe place for women and gender minorities. We help them when they have a case of violence, sexual or sexist violence at work. We help them do what is mandatory with the law. And we also conduct studies on any topic that is related to gender equality. So yeah, trying to understand the impact of being a woman, for example, in the world of music or in any other topic. They come for us for our expertise in gender equality.
So, sorry, this topic, you could have choose to study them, to continue research on them. What did push you to pursue entrepreneurship in this topic instead of just staying into your sector of research? Is there an event or reason why you decided to create a business about it instead of just staying in the university as a researcher? My question was for Clémentine.
Sorry. I really liked what I was doing at university. So I wanted to keep my core competencies, capacities, which was as a trainer, as a researcher. And what mattered to me in my first topic, the linguistic and cultural diversity, what was the question of diversity, power relations, domination processes. So I wanted to keep that, but I was not well in university as a professional context. So what was the initiating context or events to become an entrepreneur was the fact that I worked for 8 years in very short-term contracts, and I considered that I didn't want to stay in the bad working conditions that were offered by universities. So it was not a long an idea that I had for a long time to become an entrepreneur. It was more the consequences of university as a professional context. So this way, by starting a consulting agency, I could do what I loved, which was researching, training adults on the topics that I like, but with creating my own context and getting out of the university as a professional frame.
Well, that's really nice, because it must be really rewarding on a daily basis to do what you like the most, and to also create your own job with it, and to be able to live from it in a more stable way. Is it something that you see yourself for a long time?
I don't know if I can speak about stability, because for example, I'm not financially stable now, but I feel way more stable professionally, because the problem with short-term contracts is every year you have to project yourself in the few jobs that appear in France that you could go and candidate on. So every year, every month of March, I was planning on, will I move out? Will I start in a new research team with new subjects? So there was no stability in the university. Now I don't have the financial stability, but I have stability in other aspects of my job, which is I can organize my life as I want, and it's a lot of work, but for now it's working well. So
great. And you, Rosemary, entrepreneurship, is it something that you wanted to do from the start? Because usually entrepreneurship is more common in the scientific sector, or at least it's a bit more natural. So is it something you had in the back of your mind, or, I mean, can you explain us how did it happen?
Yes. So yeah, it was not at the beginning of my thesis, but I think it was at the second years. I knew that at the beginning for my thesis, I knew that I will not stay in the academic field. For me, the thesis was a formation, I mean, a way to get a lot of skills, and it is really great, because it's really the case. But I was sure that I wanted to have a job that in a concrete, I mean, to study concrete stuff. For me, it was, I mean, academia is fundamental things, so it's really interesting, but it's not for me. I mean, not in long-term way, if I say. And so for sure, it will be the private sector, but the discussion with my fiance at the beginning, it was my fiance. Both of us were also in thesis in the same time, and we're thinking about maybe why not create our own job, our own company, because the way in thesis, a way to be in part of your project. I mean, to really, it's your baby, in fact, your thesis project. And it's really exciting. It's really, I mean, yeah, it's really fascinating and interesting. So we wanted to keep that. And we believe that create our own company will give us that. And it's really the case. So yeah, it's more a reflection that we got during since the second, third, and fourth years, that we realized that we wanted to try to start our own company. And finally, the thing is to have the good idea and how to get the good idea. So it's just our feeling about what we wanted to work on. And it's a trip that we got in USA after our thesis that give us the idea to change the cities of tomorrow by creating these bioluminescent plants. Yeah, that's the story.
Okay, and even if you were decided to work in the private sector in the future from the start, did you still have to shift your mindset after your thesis? Was it hard for you to change? Because you're saying yourself that nowadays you work more in the business side in your company. So did you experience some changes? Did you have like cultural shocks at some points?
Yeah, it's a good question. So yes, we have to, both of us have to change our set mind. And we had a shock, yes, at the beginning of the story of Woodlight, because yeah, first of all, when we got this idea, we did our scientific jobs, meaning that we check if bioluminescent plants were already existed, and if we can improve the process to get this bioluminescent plant. So this is really scientific part. We got it. We did it quickly. It was okay. Then how to create a company. So for that, we assumed that Région Grand Est, because we are in Strasbourg, Région Grand Est could help us. So we just get a meeting with them. And Région Grand Est asked BPI France to come in this meeting. And so, in fact, it was bunkers in front of us and not scientific at all. So we discussed about the project and we were really focused on how we can do it concretely with the genes, blah, blah, blah. And in fact, in front of us, we got question about the market, the purchase, what is your business plan, what is your business model, etc. And we were like, oh my God, what's that? So we realized that we have a lot to learn. So it was really exciting also, and we got a lot of trainings in Pôle emploi and also in University of Strasbourg to get so like an MBA and so on. So to really learn about the business and how to speak to investors, how to speak to guys who have the money and who can help us about this aspect of the project, because science is just one aspect of the project, and the business is like a lot to do. So that's why at the beginning we are two, and really fast we realized that we don't need to have two scientists in the company, but we have to have one head to be the scientist and the second one to be the businessman. So at the beginning it was Ghislain who got this part, and me, I was really on the scientific part, and now we are really evolving. So we need more human resources in the R&D part. So and we have a lot to do also in the business part. So I switch a bit my skills also. I learned also a lot during these 4 years of the adventure of Woodlight. So now I can also more lead with the business part. But yeah, for sure you have to change your set mind. But also I think it's not because you had two questions. You had also the question if it was difficult, and finally not really, because in the thesis you are also polyvalent. So you have to do a lot of things, a lot of different things, and finally business is just new things that you have to learn. But with a thesis background, I think you learn fast, so it's not a big deal in fact.
Okay, can you tell me maybe, Clémentine, if you have the same opinion that has PhD students? I'm not going to say it's easy to create a company, but you have some kind of like skills that help you in your entrepreneurial path?
Yes, I fully agree with what you just said. I think we are not aware of it when we are studying, doing our PhD, but I mean, it's huge when you think of it, and maybe even more in social sciences where you don't have so many people working on the same projects. Usually you're alone on your project, but you manage a project for 3, 4, 5 years alone. You plan it, you do what you had planned to do. You have so many skills that you're not aware of. And it's true that for me, also, I didn't find it that difficult, even though I had so much to learn, because as you just said, I mean, in social sciences, for example, it's really not well considered to speak about market prices, business. We learn nothing about it, and it's really not, I don't know, there is something that it's not well accepted to speak about those skills. So I never learned any of this, and I did during the 3 months I did with Pépite, which helped me in the beginning of my project, entrepreneur project. But it's true that you have the ability to learn very fast, very quickly, when you are a PhD student and you are really, really independent in the way you work. So this is huge. This is something that you don't find in every worker in the outside world, outside of the academic field.
Yes, and for the other skills, so the skills you don't learn as a PhD student, you were talking about marketing, communication, business, finance stuff, etc. Those are the stuff you can learn when you are like supported and trained by your Pépite. That's what you just said about Clémentine. You followed a program called the Starter Program in the Pépite Centre Val de Loire in Tours. Can you explain us what it is and how it helped you?
Yes, so I was accepted in this program called Starter, and it's, I don't know, we were maybe 15, I don't remember, people with entrepreneur projects, and it's very intensive. Every week you have a seminar on one topic. So for example, the seminar on your communication strategy, and the week after that you have to present your communication strategy. And then the week after that you have a seminar on the economical part of your project, and then you have to work. And so in 3 months I had to cover quite all the business topics regarding my projects, and it helped me make it more realistic, having an idea of who were the people already working on this topic, was there a need in my region, on the territory where I was working, all the topics that I needed to have in mind before starting. And yes, it really helped.
Okay, and you, Rosemary, you're from Strasbourg. So you beneficiate from the help of the Pépite of Strasbourg, which is called ETENA. Can you tell a bit more about what kind of program did you follow there?
So I followed the diplôme universitaire, which is named student entrepreneur student, which is linked to ETENA. And ETENA also helped us in the creation of a Fab Lab, because in our story we are specific because, as you understood well, my Woodlight is not a project from my thesis at all. It's a really different topic, and so we cannot have the help of SAT, the Société Accélération Transfert de Technologie. So there is not a pipeline for people like us, and specifically we didn't have access easily to a lab. So we need at the beginning to develop a lab, in a fabric lab in biotech. And so Etena helped us for that. University of Strasbourg helped us to do that. And this Fab Lab is now available for all entrepreneurs that need to have access of a laboratory to try, to test the idea and to create a proof of concept or prototype. So this is the part. And for the diplôme universitaire, it was also there is some trainings, but it's more like specific competencies that came and explained us their job, like a marketer, marketing, communication, and so on. So really precise stuff. And the idea was to work on our project directly with experts, in fact. So it was really, really helpful also to have another point of view. The point of view of an expert in your project is really interesting. It's really important to not be alone.
I wanted to follow with that idea. No entrepreneurs are alone when they create a company or an association or an event. It's always a group effort, even if you're the one carrying your own project. So, Rosemary, did you receive the help of other people? Did you try to create a group around your project to help you? Did you have maybe an accounting person coming to help you with the financial side, etc.? Who helped you in the beginning of your project?
Yes. Yes, this is really a great question. Like I said, you have to not be alone. So for sure, there was a lot of people that help you. At the beginning, at the really beginning, we created a scientific committee composed by different experts in plant biology, because we are not experts, and so that was the first big stuff that we did. For sure, then like I said, the university helped us a lot. And then it's more like contact from them or from other how can I say, meetings that are organized, for sure. Etena also organized a meeting with, it was Vie, ma vie d'entrepreneur, meaning that you have, for one day, you follow a CEO of a company. And during this day, at the end of the day, all the students and all the CEO are in the same room and have a cocktail. And in this meeting, we got our first mentor. So this guy is really, really helpful. He's a coach in his professional life, and follow us from the beginning. And this is really important because psychologically, it's kind of, it can be difficult, like your thesis. It's more or less the same. There is great days and there is also difficult days, because you can feel alone. You can, it's kind of difficult. And to have a mentor, it's really, really important. So this guy, it's thanks to Etena, in a way. And then we had also the help of Semia, which is I don't know the term in English, incubator of startup, sorry. So meaning that this organization is here to help entrepreneurs to develop their company by trainings, by sharing their network, some stuff like that. So they were also helpful, and can also give us contacts for the region to get financial funds, also with BPI France and so on. So I don't know if I answer well the question.
Yes, you did. It's okay. And you, Clémentine, did you have some kind of mentor that followed you through the process of creating your own activity?
Yes, when I did the starter program, I was matched up with a mentor, and he really helped in the beginning. And then I joined two networks. One network is called Voyelle, and it's for women entrepreneurs in the region. And the other one is a network of consultants. And both, and I really, I have a lot of partners also. I always, I still have contacts with Pépite, and this is really important. As you said, we have many skills from the PhD, but of course we don't have all of the skills, and it's okay to rely on other people, on partners to help you with some of the needs you have, which could be accounting, that's a good example, or anything else. So it's very important to be in networks. You always have someone that will speak about the subject that resonates with your own problems, or give you the contact of someone, and yeah, that's part of the life of your project. And really, you shouldn't be ashamed or too humble to ask for help, and try and get to learn from the experiences of all the people that started a business before you.
Yeah, that's a really important point. Like, people are really in the entrepreneurial world. Actually, people are really eager to help people starting, especially a PhD student, because there's so few maybe. But anyway, if you have an idea, if you need help, if you have questions, do not hesitate to contact like your local Pépite through your university. Ask for a mentor to participate in the training and support program that can really, really help at the beginning. And now we have a question like in the comment section. I think it's more for you, Rosemary. So the question is, do you think it's advisable to work in a relevant organization for a while, maybe 5 years, to develop real business technical expertise before starting out an entrepreneurial adventure after completing a PhD? I think that's more or less what you did, Rosemary. You worked a little bit before starting your Woodlight project.
No, so I did 1 year of postdoc. I mean, if I can say, I stay 1 year more after my thesis in the same lab to finish the work and to publish my PhD work. And then we got directly on the project of Woodlight. And so it was really, really, so it was in 2016. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, there was 2 years that were a bit difficult because of this problem of having access to a lab. So it took 1.5 years, so yeah, more or less 1.5 years to create this lab. So we enter in the lab beginning of 2018, so that's why we created Woodlight only this year, and we could finally try our idea only this year. So we spent 2 years in the creation of the laboratory and trainings, and also we participate in some competitions to get funds for sure, to have communication also, and also it was a way to structurate the project. And then, yeah, only in 2018 we could work on the lab, get some results, and then get some funds, and have some more results, and then some more funds, and etc.
Okay. Well, anyway, there's no obligation to create a company as a PhD student. You can do it at any time of your career. If someone doesn't feel ready and think they need more experience right after they have their PhD diploma, they can of course work in a private sector or the public sector for some time. Clémentine, you work in the public sector, you said, for 8 years. Do you think he helped you to mature your project?
I worked in the university for 8 years, and I include my my PhD time. So you shouldn't think that after your PhD, your working life starts, because while you're doing your thesis, you're working. Even if you don't have a contract and you don't get paid for it, it's a work experience. So do not think that you need work experience after the PhD in order to start a business. It's true that if you don't feel ready and you want to learn more about a specific area and then you find a job in this area, that makes sense. But when I say I worked 8 years, I include the time that I was a PhD a student, and then I worked at university. So I was not in a more classical job. But this is experience. So in the end, you can start a business right after or even during your PhD if you feel that you're ready. And then it's also, I think you're never ready completely. You always need you always need new skills, but you will learn while doing it. There's a lot of the job that you don't know when you start it. You don't even know that you will need this or that skill, and then you start, and every time you face a new obstacle, you will try to find either a partner that can help you or a training session that will I don't know. I'm not saying that you have to go and it's easy and everything, but also you don't need to be 100% sure that you have everything you need, because there's also always a part that you cannot foresee and that you will discover while developing your project.
Thank you, Clémentine. I've seen that Rosemary has a question in the discussion. Did you read it, Rosemary? Did you see it?
No, sorry.
Okay, so it says, did you independently conduct your experiment to validate it works before deciding to start the company? If yes, did your PhD lab give you that platform or how did you do it? And if no, did you take the idea into the meeting with BPI France and it was after you got some funding that you did the first lab test? So I guess you can precise how did it work.
So yeah, it was not during my thesis at all. Like I said, the idea, we got it by the end of 2015, the beginning of 2016. Yeah, January of 2016. So the thesis was already done. I quit the lab, the PhD lab. So it's really a different story. And so we could start the experiment only when we got access to the lab, and it was 2 years after. So during this time, like I said before, during these 2 years, we participate in some competition to get first money, a bit of money. And we did a lot of trainings to get skills on business part. And for myself, I worked in theory, in the theory of how I will do the experiment. And I also, meaning that before develop the biomethane plant, which will need a lot of money and a lot of time, I thinking about how I can do a proof of concept in the faster way that I can. So I work on that, and in parallel, Gislain developed this lab, this biotech lab in the University of Strasbourg, and this lab opened in 2018. So only in this time we could start the experiment, and it was with no funding, in fact. So we were in Pôle emploi. Unemployed, so we got some fee from that. I mean, it's like not a salary, but you know what I mean, to live. But for the experiment itself, it was the money that we got from the competition, and that's all. It was only at the end of 2018 when we got this proof of concept that we can enter in the SEMIA, so the incubator of startup, and then got fundings from Region. And then we could hire a master degree in plant biology. And then we got some other funds from BP funds, so we can continue to hire him plus a few people. So it was really, at the beginning, it was really difficult. And that's why I said that the mentor was really helpful, because from 2 years, you live in a project that you cannot test. You are not sure if you will be one day able to test your idea. It was really, really complicated at the beginning. But more you evolve and more you get some milestone, scientific milestone, you can get some help from the organization around. And so you can continue to develop and so on.
So you mentioned you had to reach your proof of concept to go forward with your project. I wanted to know if Clémentine had to go through this process a little bit, even if we're not in the scientific field, because you train people in companies and organizations. Did you have to test your services, your offer? Did you reach the markets, your potential clients, to validate what you had to offer to them?
Actually, not really, because my associate was already training agents from all ministries in France and very important institutions. So we had the references to say we are skilled and able to work. And actually our first client was University of Tours, which was my previous employer. So it was also because they knew me and they trusted me with my expertise. So we trained all the people at the university that are in charge of the questions of the prevention of gender-based violence. So, but it's quite different. The field is quite different, and we don't have that much need for money to start, because we train people in their own institutions. We don't even need to have a workplace. We have to pay for a website, for communication, that kind of thing. But we don't. I mean, what we sell is our expertise. We don't have that much to spend in order to sell our offer, our services. So I think it's quite different in my field. And then, yeah, it was a question of trust, and every client was satisfied. So they spoke about us to other clients, and then our reputation was made like this by the trust they had in us and the references that we previously had.
Okay, thank you for answering. We have another question in the comment sections. So it's for Rosemary. Do you have to patent your scientific project to create a startup?
Mm-hmm. You don't have to. It's in scientific field, it's more common to do it for sure, but you don't have to. It's a great way to protect your idea and your project, your innovation. The patent is also to avoid people to copy what you're doing, but it's also a lot of money. So what you have to do is to wait the right time to do it, if you want to do it. So for us, for example, it was really a question if we do it or not. But in one way, we say, okay, in fact, with the tools that we have now in biology, you can really easily, if I can say, see how we can do it. I mean, which gene we would put on the plants to permit them to be bioluminescent. So we say, okay, we will protect our idea and our innovation to to avoid people to, sorry. To avoid people to copy us, but you don't need that to create a startup for sure. For example, for us, we create Woodlight in 2018, and the patent we put the patent on 2020. So yeah.
Okay, and if everyone has more like questions about intellectual property, if it concerns your topic of research as a PhD student, do not forget to contact university and also the SAT. So the SAT is the Tech Transfer Acceleration Companies. They exist on all the territory of France, and they're in charge of protecting the research made in public laboratories. In order to help you to get it into the market, okay, from the laboratory to the market. So if you have any question about that, do not hesitate to contact the university and your boss, technically, to know more about it, because it's really important to anticipate it. Someone asked in the conversation, how long would it take for a patent process to happen? Just for you to know, when you give all the information to the INPI, which delivers the patent, it can take easily 2 to 3 years to have the answers and the actual patents. So it's a really long process, and you need help to go through it. So get this help, contact people around you. I know it can be scary to talk about it, because you don't want to talk too much about intellectual property, what you actually want to protect, but it's important to get help, okay? We had other questions, I think. Questions for Clémentine. Who are your current clients? Only institution or also private sectors? And more generally, how do you develop your client basis? And how was your project received by your academic peers? Important question.
Thank you. Yes, good questions. My current clients are universities, training centers in the digital area. We work a lot. I didn't speak about it, but I specialized also on what are the stakes of having more diversity in the workplace, and gender diversity in particular. And so I work a lot with in the team of digital informatics, mathematics. So I worked with a lab of informatics training center in digital careers. We have a lot of clients now in the cultural area, because all of those clients, they have a legal obligation to train their staff on the topic, and to set up I don't know how to say it, but to have to tackle the problem of gender-based violence. So they are getting help for that, because they don't know how to do it. So how do we develop our client basis? Actually, we have had a lot of demands without having to communicate a lot. We participate in working events, and we have a website, etc. But there is a lot of needs, and there are not that many people, and we are the only ones in our region to offer that kind of services, and to have a transversal expertise on gender equality. So for now, it's working more by I don't know, from our own previous network and people speaking around them. How was my project received by my academic peers? It's interesting, because I forgot to tell you, when you asked if it was difficult, there was nothing difficult in the skills I needed to get, and it was quite easy actually. But I think one of the difficult part was to letting go of the idea that I was going to work at university, because that was the career I wanted. And to accept that maybe some people will have a bad opinion about that, and because there is not the same social prestige attached to the status of entrepreneur and a university researcher. But actually, the people that knew me a lot were really happy for me, because they also knew that I was better off in my new situation. And for the others, I don't know, and I don't. It doesn't really matter to me anymore. That social perception of this change of status. As I said before, I'm not really positive about my university experience as a working environment. So I think it's quite. I'm optimistic to know that there are ways out of university for PhD students.
Yes, indeed. Not every PhD students will be able to follow a career in the academic and public sectors. That's a reality nowadays, and entrepreneurship is a way to find your own path, to create your own job in something you really like or you're passionate about. Now we're going to take a last question I've seen, and then I will ask you, both of you, a last question. So the question from the discussions is for Rosemary. So it's, how do you recommend finding a co-founder or partner? So your case is pretty unique, but maybe from your experience, you can tell us how to find the right partner.
Yeah, this is a great question, and it's really essential to get a partner. When you start, it's really helpful if you are not alone, because like I said, there is good days, but there is also difficult days, and if you are at least two, there is, I mean, it's really helpful, it's really positive. For sure, one of the two is in a good mood and will see the sun when it's not really the case. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, for sure, for me, it's really easy, if I can say. He's my husband, so I have 100% trust. We know each other. We know how we work, and we are also complementary. So this is really important. So the good advice, I mean, the advice that I would say is to get someone that is not in the same field of you. So if you are the scientist, try to get someone who has a business background, because he will ask you questions that you will not think about. He will, for sure, he will help the project, because he will have another point of view, and the point of view that is the business. And at the end, it's the essential, in fact. And so how to get this guy or this girl? I mean, the second point that is really important is that you have to fit emotionally, if I can say, with this person. So your value has to be in the same, has to be the same. And so the value is really important. And where you want to be and what you want to do in your company, why you do the company, you have to be really in the same wavelength, if I can say, with this person, because if not, at some point it will cause problem, because if you don't have the same point of view in where you want to go, at some point you will have arguing. I mean, it will not be a long-term partnership. So how you can get this guy or this girl? It's about meeting people. So if it's a friend, if it's someone that you know already, it's for sure easier. And if not, you have to talk about your project and to meet a lot of people. And during the discussion, you will see the person that are really interesting about why you do this company, and this person, you will know also if she is helpful or not. And it's really about gut, it's really about feelings of yourself with this person. So it's really human, if I can say. It's really so skills for sure, because you want complementarity, but also it's a human decision. So it's really feeling good feeling with this person.
Okay, thank you, Rosemary. Just to add information, when you create some kind of partnership, do not hesitate to actually sign agreements to also protect yourself and the future of your project. It's something that is completely normal to do, and that is really important to anticipate. If at some point the team wants to go in different path, that's something possible. But if everything is well anticipated, it's not an issue for an entrepreneurial project. So now we're gonna finish with one last question. But before, I'm gonna bring to your attention that we put a link in the comment section where you can sign up the attendance sheet if you want to validate hours of training with your university. So if you want to do so, go to the comment section and sign the attendance sheet. And now we're gonna go for the last question. First, I'm gonna ask Rosemary, because I know you have another meeting right after. So I'm gonna ask you. So the question is, what advice would you give to a PhD student that didn't finish his doctorate yet, but is interested in this path of creating maybe a company or an activity?
Mm-hmm. So go. Even if this person is interesting to try it, I say go, because it will be like the thesis, a way to learn a lot about a lot of skills and a lot about yourself also. And you will meet a lot of people, a lot of interesting people that you will not be able to meet in another way. So this, just for that, it's really nice to try it, and try to, take time to think about your project, take time to meet a lot of people, and do not hesitate to speak about your idea, because at the beginning, entrepreneur, and I was like that also, so I can say it, we are afraid to speak about our idea, because we say, oh, if I speak about this guy will thief my idea. But no, you have to think about a bit differently, saying that this guy can help myself to think about the project differently, give advice about this or that, or can know somebody that can be helpful for me now or later. So yeah, do not hesitate to meet people, do this kind of stuff. So meet entrepreneur. How do they do? If they can help you, or if they know somebody that can help you. It's a lot about networking, entrepreneurs. So more you meet people, more you will develop your idea and your project. So yeah.
Thank you, Rosemary. If you need to leave us right now, thank you for participating in this interview session. It was really really nice and informative, I think, for all of us. And now
thank you.
You're welcome. And now we're gonna ask the same question to Clémentine. So, what advice would you give to the PhD students?
I have a few advices. First of all, don't keep having a personal life on the side of your thesis. It's very important. And this personal life can be also a professional life, and having your mind open for other projects. And even if you think about university as a career, always have a plan B, and yes, keep your mind open to whatever can emerge from the outside. And also don't, I don't know how to say, but don't downgrade yourself. There is a great chance, if you're a PhD, that a student, that you are really competent. So if you seek for another job, or if you have an entrepreneurial project, yes, don't downgrade yourself. You can make it, it's for sure, but you will need help from the outside. Just keep your yeah, keep your options open.
Well, thank you for this really, really good advice, Clémentine. And thank you both for participating in this quiz and talk. So we wish you both a lot of success in your projects. And now I'm just going to announce the next episode. So it will be a quiz session. It will be the 12th of January. So at 7 p.m. on the Twitch channel called Bien dans ma thèse. So we're gonna put this Twitch channel in the conversation, so you can have access to it. And to conclude this episode, I want to say that if you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact your local Pépite. We're gonna put again the website of Pépite France, where there's actually a map where you can find your closest Pépite, and there's an email to contact them if you have any question. So thank you, everyone, and I hope to see you very soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a nice afternoon, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah. Have a nice afternoon. Bye-bye.